This presentation tells of the lived encounters of me, Lizzie, and my colleague Teresa during trips in search of authentic gastrotourism experiences. Gastrotourism is a significant generator of revenue and relates to the deliberate seeking out of food-related experiences during travel.
Tourists seek multi-sensory experiences and interaction based on food and drink, and we are no exception. Having visited places whose character can be defined by local cuisine, contributing to place or destination image and marketing. Authenticity, or at least the perception of authenticity, is crucial to tourism and hospitality, and influences consumer satisfaction.
Denunciation of mass tourism has justified the need for authenticity, and here we consider that it is multifaceted and related to the tourist's individual value system. This dialogical autoethnography represents shared understanding and disagreements between the two authors, contextualizing our stories within the social and theoretical at the interface of consumer behaviour, gastrotourism, and food marketing practices. I love travelling, but some tourist experiences leave me cold. I avoid package tours full of brand and tattoo emblazoned Brits. The herd, flocks, swarms, stags and hens of tourist resorts. I prefer a more sedate cultural experience, which makes me sound elitist, but if an area has been altered significantly to accommodate tourists, I would prefer to avoid it. In Turkey, I head to the Enver Yalçın Donkey Museum in Yanaklar, a mixture of restaurant, display of donkey-related artefacts and tribute to ancestor Enver Yalçın. Breakfast is a colourful array of fruit, honey, spicy esma, tangy chachak, homemade bread, crunchy salads, peppers in yogurt, roast potatoes and fried eggs, with fresh pomegranate juice, spring water and limitless fragrant chai. Authentic, mouth-watering, bizarrely good-for-you food heaven. Here we see few foreigners, but some Turkish customers are tourists from distant Istanbul or Ankara. Some tourist destinations try to eliminate less sophisticated customers for those with higher disposable income. Hearing my strangled attempts to speak Turkish, the woman in charge, yes, in a country scoring high on the masculinity dimension of culture. There's a boss lady. Delighted, she gave me a huge jar of home-produced honey. I felt honoured. Perhaps she recognised my attempts to use language to embrace the variability, negotiability and adaptability required for effective communication and to dissolve tourists' tensions. Gifts are offered and accepted on each visit, and she now greets me with Lizzie Abla, which means big sister. This confirms that food reinforces social bonds and that when tourists decide to visit a locus, friendliness is of paramount importance and a factor in repeat visits.
Mass tourism? Not for me either. When I visit a new place, I want to discover its real side, beyond crowded landmarks and postcard-perfect spots. Café culture has been described as an essential location of social interface. And it is unsurprising that I like to sit outside, sipping a coffee or maybe Prosecco, watching life go by. Discovering local food, flavors, aroma and colors is an adventure. I also try to learn the greetings, order in the native language, and embrace the full experience. My last trip to Poland was amazing. I went to Rabgacz, a lovely spa town between Krakow and Zakopane. I stayed in a sanatorium with a Polish friend, where I was the only non-Polish speaker. The food was traditional, home-cooked and hearty. For breakfast, we were offered meat called katz, cheese, boiled or scrambled eggs, fresh bread, butter, cottage cheese, tomatoes, cucumbers and radishes. For me, a rare vegetarian visitor, they replaced meat with aubergines or other vegetables. And the soups were divine, like, for example, the zuba jibova, and this was made with forest mushrooms. On the first night, however, they didn't know what to serve me, so they brought out the children's meal option. Cooked pasta with a sweet strawberry sauce and cream. For an Italian, this was unusual. I tried it, but just one mouthful was more than enough. My friend lit up and said that it reminded her of a childhood treat. My positive reception may have been shaped by traveling with a Polish friend. She mediated in conversations, explained cultural norms, and perhaps eased concerns about a foreign guest. Personal relationships shape tourist experience and access to social spaces. Traveling with a local companion may have shielded me from social tensions or exclusions, highlighting unequal visitor experiences.
The magic of neurogastronomy, an emerging field exploring gastronomy through the lens of the brain and behaviour, provides insights into the sensory and emotional responses that drive enjoyment of food, adding deep understanding to gastrotourism. Teresa's Polish experience brings to mind a Turkish restaurant within a butcher's shop where customers consume freshly grilled meat with breads and salads drenched in pomegranate molasses and olive oil. Once, during the holy month of Ramadan, we were seated waiting for the cannon to sound, signifying that those fasting may eat iftar. Once the cannon's reverberations had faded, we were served flavoursome soup containing shreds of meat and something vaguely like chewy chicken. I asked my husband what it was, and hiding a smile, he said it was brain. We had inadvertently ordered kelle pacha, head and trotter soup. Normally served at breakfast, and that's what iftar is, the breaking of the fast. I finished the soup, minus the offal, and made sure that henceforth I ordered chicken or lentil. Although we don't see much offal on restaurant menus within the UK, it appears frequently in Turkish cuisine.
It is traditional in parts of Europe to eat cuts of meat that wouldn't be the first choice. And these are used in well-known iconic dishes, and food-loving conoscenti often hunt down restaurants or little trattorias that serves them. In Rome, there is a rich, flavorful coda alla vaccinara, oxtail braised in tomato sauce with celery, carrots, and sometimes white wine, served with bread or pasta, or trippa alla romana, tripe simmered in tomato sauce with onions, garlic, and pecorino romano cheese. And classic pasta alla carbonara, a traditional dish with crispy fried guanciale, pork cheek, with eggs, pecorino romano, and black pepper to make a creamy sauce. Traditionally, no bacon and absolutely no cream. Cuisine can celebrate traditional dishes aligned with cucina povera or poor kitchen, making the most of humble ingredients, creating flavorful, nourishing meals using leftovers, local produce, and low-cost cuts of meat or vegetables. Cucina povera is rooted in economic hardship, but emphasizes creativity, resourcefulness, and deep respect for food. Take panzanella, a traditional stale bread salad with tomatoes, onions, and olive oil, basic ingredients packed with flavor. Eating less meat, focusing on more plant-based meals, and simple ingredients will honor these traditions and contribute to a healthier planet. Cucina Povera shows us the value of simplicity in food and how we approach what we consume and care for the world around us. It reflects a frugal approach to food and embodies a deep respect for community, tradition, and sustainability. Aligned with agrotourism, farm-based hospitality, promoting regional, seasonal food, grown and prepared with respect for the land. A unique way to explore a country, providing immersion in traditional gastronomy and rural heritage.
I love the concept of cucina povera and acknowledge it is adopted in cultures everywhere. Some top restaurants serve an haute cuisine version of these meals, attracting visitors to restaurants at home and abroad. On a Hungarian visit, my MBA students took great delight in eating the most outlandish items, a competitive sport. I recall them ordering chicken gizzard stew, not the most curious of dishes that day. This can be called neo-primitive cuisine or nose-to-tail cuisine. I will stick to my chicken Caesar salad, thank you.
It has been enlightening and enjoyable for us to have developed this paper together and find similarities in the ways in which we seek gastrotourist experiences and how different cultures address the consumer experience.
We know that individual stories are at the heart of autoethnography and that something unique happens to us through storytelling. We have subjectively explored the emic and the ideographic perspectives appropriate for autoethnography and have found commonalities and differences in our lived experiences. Supporting the Proustian notion that tastes can conjure vivid, involuntary memories, we see that food and drink can be evocative through engagement of multiple senses. The connections then between these sensory experiences make the links to memory, culture, and emotion easily accessible.
Although we have different backgrounds with travel experiences, we have each sought authenticity in gastrotourism, choosing destinations based upon the genuineness of food.
We hope that in hearing this autoethnographic account of authenticity in gastrotourism, other authors will be inspired to take up the baton and contribute to the rich, thick data that emerges from this research method. Thank you.